Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us for the launch of the INDUS Finance Special Interest Group. This group will be led from an SAP point of view by Srinath Ganeshan. Sri, can you just wave your hand? Thank you. Maybe Sri, if you would like to quickly touch upon the agenda that we have planned for today and hand it over to Manoj. Manoj is one of the INDUS board members. He's also the CIO of HMEL or HPCL Methyl Energy, and he's a chartered accountant by himself as well. So, Sri, maybe if you can just quickly talk about the agenda and then hand it over to Manoj.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, everybody. Good morning and welcome to this launch event of SAG. My name is Srinath. I'm with a chartered accountant and been with SAP of late, but being from SAP FI certified forensic auditor, and so been with SAP field FICO for the last around 15 years. Happy to participate in this launch event, exclusive. And today we have a very sweet agenda, okay, packed for 45 to 50 minutes maximum. We don't want to really hold on to your Friday afternoon meetings. And the first would be a welcome note from the INDUS board, Manoj Kumar. Thank you, Manoj, for accepting the invite and giving the keynote and welcome address. And after that, we have Sandeep Ujire, who is the Chief Financial Officer of SAP India. Okay, thank you, Sandeep, for giving your time, and we look forward to hear from you on how we could able to make this finance community more vibrant and more active. Okay. And then we have a couple of sessions from SAP. I would like to share some of the perspective of how the S4 digital core, from a finance perspective, how we could maximize the potential of it. Then we have Keval Shah, who is the ICA head for the finance and S4. He would give a perspective of how analytics from the finance perspective driven from S4. This is a short agenda for this call. Back to you, Mukesh and Manoj. Thank you.
Thanks, Sri. Manoj, if I can ask you to quickly do the opening remarks for us.
Okay. Thank you, Mukesh. Thank you, Sandeep and Srinath. And first, I would say, it's my privilege. Most of the time I'm asked to participate in, the IT or, the digital conferences. The first time I've been asked, coming from my background, which is hardcore finance, to participate and, get you introduced the special interest group for finance. It's my really privilege to be part of, this special interest group. Further, I'm part of the INDUS board and would like to, brief what this INDUS, what does it mean? So would like to share my screen just a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's a brief about INDUS. INDUS is Indian User Group of SAP, which means this is an independent community, what we represent, okay, for customer, by customer, of customer. And it's an indication of market maturity that, okay, in the Indian market, so many SAP customers are there. That's the reason this INDUS group been set up in India. Basically, we represent, all those customers who have implemented SAP, so that the perspective of the customer can be reached to SAP to influence, whatever improvement in terms of the functionalities, in terms of the technology, or in terms of the licensing, etc., can be communicated. So that's the purpose of this user group, to take the feedback or to become the voice of the customer within SAP community. And the question comes, why do we need a user group? So it is basically a convergence of industries. Various industries have implemented, whether it is oil and gas, pharma, FMCG, so many companies, so many different type of industries have implemented, SAP, and everybody does, the unique solution around it. So by this user group, various type of industries comes together, share their, ideas, share their success, share their, what all uniqueness they have done. And as INDUS, it provides a common platform to them. And Through this INDUS technological advances, it happens because, but through this INDUS platform, we conduct a lot of workshops where new technologies, what SAP is working on, getting introduced to the customer so that, respective companies can take those advantages. And it's, the emerging business models, using this INDUS. So that's the reason, we need a user group like INDUS. And the objective of INDUS is to collaborate, co-innovate, and influence to SAP. And SAP also through INDUS, they come forward to co-innovate if suppose some user problems are there which are faced by many companies. So through SAP, INDUS influence to co-innovate, and of course, the collaborate among the customers, among the partners, and the various clients. So that's the objective of INDUS. In terms of the collaborate with SAP customers, so many customers are there with SAP. With SAP business unit, within SAP also, so many business units are there. And after especially, a lot of acquisition done by SAP in terms of their core ERP system, then to their Aribas, Concur, Fieldglass, so many, companies they have acquired. So within business unit also, we call SAP collaborates, and with SAP partners. SAP has good ecosystem in terms of partner. They have the big names as well as, a lot of startup communities, or the boutique, I would say the solution provider. So through the INDUS platform, it helps to collaborate. In terms of the co-innovate with SAP product teams, and with SAP consulting and with SAP partners through this platform, through INDUS community, it can be done. As I said, if suppose some unique problems are there, which these partners or SAP feel it can cater to the larger community, the co-innovation take place. And in terms of the influence through this community, because it's one of the strongest community representing so many customers in India in terms of the products, policies, and the strategy, a lot of meetings takes place with SAP senior leadership. In fact, yesterday also the INDUS board had a good meeting with the SAP India CEO as well as SAP Asia Pacific President. So it is in terms of getting the messages of the customer to the SAP so that SAP can, take those feedback and act upon. Then it influenced to the local, regional, and the global leadership. The INDUS board members and their members, they keep on meeting through various conferences or a very specific meeting, so that the local issues, because every country has unique problem statements, I would say. So those can be influenced to SAP to address, and SAP partner ecosystem also through this platform, various partners, whether it is a big names or specific startups or boutique solution provider, it can be influenced. So currently we have 1,500 plus customer and 5,000 plus individual members. And member as INDUS, we are member of SAP User Group Executive Network, which is SUGEN. That's what the various what's the status of the INDUS. And how INDUS enable this charter through various council, various special interest groups, and chapters. A special interest group, let's say today we are launching the special interest group for finance. So same way, the special interest group, they are by industry vertical. For example, special interest group for oil and gas, special interest group for automobile, special interest group for pharma. Those kind of interest groups are there by the industry as well as by the function in terms of HR, finance, supply chain. Those interest groups are there, so that more and more members gets benefit out of it. And this council is in action through INDUS board members as well as INDUS licensing committee is also there. So if anybody needs any kind of a clarification and they don't want to reach to the SAP directly, through INDUS licensing committee members, they can share their perspective and can get the guidance, but let's say how those matters should be handled. And this is just the few glimpses of the board member. Our chairman is Mr. Vijay Sethi. He's no more with Hiromoto. I think it's our slide. And followed by Atul, Umesh, Puneet, Yogesh, Chandar, myself, Prakash, and Sandeep. So we come from the various region, and if you see, we represent various type of industry. That's how this INDUS is, getting operated. And these are some of the special interest group in action. From the industry side, it is automotive, oil and gas, utilities, retail, consumer product, chemical, pharma, professional services. And on the function side, it's HR, procurement, manufacturing, supply chain, IT, marketing, sales, innovation, oblique transformation. And on the product side, SAP S4HANA, cloud platform, PLM, enterprise support, globalization, licensing, security. Those kind of communities have been built based on your interest. You can participate in one or many interest group, and a lot of conferences or can take place, so that you or your team can be beneficial out of this special interest group. And chapters in action, on the metro city, we have chapters in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and hubs in Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and in towns, it is in Cochin, Ahmedabad, and Coimbatore. So join us, INDUS, as a member, and take benefit out of various conferences. What we keep on doing, a lot of information we are sharing, and you can raise your concerns, so that those concerns can be discussed with SAP, and that I can assure you, SAP being one of the largest software company, they take those feedbacks very seriously, and ensure that they reach out to their customer in a more collaborative way to solve their problem, etc. So if you're not member yet, be a member and join a special interest group of your area, so that we are getting benefit out of it. Thank you everyone. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer related to INDUS.
Thank you so much, Manoj, for your quick introduction about INDUS and how INDUS operates. Maybe if I can ask, if there are any questions for Manoj, maybe it will be a good idea for you to put it on the chat, so that we can actually respond to those questions. Meanwhile, I'd like to request Sandeep Ujire, CFO for SAP in India, to maybe quickly do his welcome address.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Manoj. I think you have explained INDUS in a very well manner, so that makes my life easy. So I can just walk through in 5 minutes. Thank you so much for that, and a warm welcome to all the members here. And I'm very thankful for all of you to join this particular initiative. And again, I have to thank Srinath and Mukesh for this initiative, where we are trying to get all the finance community together into this particular group. And of course, Manoj, you have been, I think you stand out because of your background. The CA, being a CIO, I had not seen this before. So anyway, thank you so much, Manoj, for the introduction. So my name is Sandeep. I have taken over as CFO of SAP India just 3 months ago. While I've been in SAP for quite some time, I just took over as a CFO in April this year. So I was happy to be part of this particular initiative, because this is an initiative where we're trying to get all the CFOs, finance leaders, the entire finance community together into one group. And I would like to stress that this is because I'm part of SAP. I would like to stress that we are not here to promote our products or to sell our products here. So this is not about that, but this is about discussion by the various group members, bringing out a lot of issues which we can address, or if something is not working well, something is working well, whichever is the thing we can discuss, and so see that all the user group members get benefited from this. So again, so this particular platform allows SAP and SAP users to exchange the information of mutual interest and values, and enables the SAP users to share experiences, knowledge, ideas with each other. So this is an opportunity for all SAP customers, partners who are part of this group to come together and learn from each other. So Manoj has already given a background of what INDUS is all about, with 1,500 plus customers and 5,000 plus members. And as far as I know, this particular group is there in existence for the last 20 plus years and very active in the last 10 plus years. So it is good that we as a finance community are coming together into this particular initiative. So we are talking about the special interest group here, where finance is one of the area where we saw, and this could be any area for that matter. So I think we can discuss topics that are relevant and interest for CFOs, for instance, or office of CFO. And the major one that comes to my mind is the finance transformation, which is a hot topic everywhere. And we ourselves have gone through many transformations. Maybe I'll take a couple of minutes to explain what we have gone through. So if you see SAP, we were also a traditional finance function where CFO used to lead the team with everybody reporting to them. And it is like being responsible from end to end, having a big team. But I think around 2005 or 2006, that is when when a shared services setup was formed, and in APG we had the setup in Singapore, where we saw all the billing related stuff being migrated to the shared services. I think that was the beginning of the finance transformation in SAP. And then 2-3 years later, we saw this finance function being broken into several sub-organizations like field finance, controlling, tax, treasury, shared services. And we even had what is called as a corporate financial reporting, or the team that is responsible for the accounting function. And this is when SAP was running through our old system of R3 or ECC 6.0. And then I think around 2010-11 timeframe, we started this initiative called as Finance Run Better Together. So what it means was there was a lot of stress on standardization, automation, simplification of the work that we do, and also stress on the people development aspect, in addition to bringing our own technology. That is when we started using all of our own products, where we started the campaign, what is called as SAP Runs SAP. So that is when I think from a technology perspective, we saw this business suite on SAP HANA. That was launched, and the Simple Finance was launched. 4 or 5 years later, maybe around 2015 onwards, we saw the next set of transformation that happened, where we saw a lot of initiatives on the digital finance transformation, where again there was a lot of stress on automation and the service and delivery portfolio. In addition to which, we said there was a lot of stress on the agile transformation. So we were trying to see agile working modes, leadership, and culture, and so on. Not to be left out, we always, I think SAP as a company has always focused on the people. We launched this program called as Amazing People, where we stressed on the long-term enablement of the people, and we tried to enhance the business partner capabilities. And this was when, even from a technology perspective, we saw this SAP S/4HANA Finance being launched. And then we came out with the host of reporting structure. We call it as Enterprise Analytics Store. We had a lot of reports that were made available to us, through which CFO or any finance person for that matter, be it controlling or anybody, it was very easy to go and just pull out the reports that he wants, than just running into a lot of ledger accounts. If you see the way a traditional CFO has been working till today, a lot has changed. In the past, CFO was more of a reporting function. Now it is more of an insight. From earlier being consulted, now CFOs are leading the transformation. From being an observer, today they're being a key contributor for a lot of things, and being a scorekeeper to a business partner. So a lot of things have changed. And again, if I go back to again what we have been doing, in the past, what I saw in SAP at least is the local CFO was responsible for the completeness and correctness, in the sense that he was responsible for the end-to-end accounting, audits, etc. Business partnering was a very small component in that. But if you see today, it has changed significantly. While the completeness is still the responsibility of the CFO, the correctness piece has been given to this function called as a local chief accountant, or the corporate financial reporting team, who actually does the orchestration between the shared services, between the COEs or whoever it is, and ensure the correctness is there, while the overall responsibility still lies with CFO. But today, CFOs are focusing a lot on business partnering, which was not the case in the past. Again, if I see the major thing that comes to my mind when there is a transformation, 3 things stand out for me: people, process, and system. So when we talk about people, the biggest challenge is the change management, when we try to encourage people to change what they have been doing and how they have to upskill to the next role. So there is a lot of focus on the people development, and in fact, learning is something that was not a priority in the past, but we that itself is the big priority. And we have our own academy, what we call as the Global Finance Academy. We have a lot of data available and a lot of materials available from a learning perspective. When we come to processes, in the past, everybody used to have their own processes, but everything was simplified in the sense that we have one global process, we have one global process map, and somebody owns that, which means a lot of standardization, automation, and removing a lot of duplication overall. And again, when I come to systems, as I said earlier, we focus a lot on using our own technology, where we said SAP runs SAP, and there's a lot of focus on cloud adoption now. And of course, when SAP S/4HANA was launched, there are a lot of changes there as well. So I thought I just talk about the transformation that we have gone through in the last like 10, 15 years. And with that, I think I would like to hand over back to Srinath and Mukesh. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, for sharing your quick, short opening address. Anyone have any questions for Sandeep? Maybe you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Would be great if you can use the reaction tab to raise hand so that we can actually invite you to ask your questions. Okay. So if there are no questions for Sandeep at this point in time, maybe thank you so much, Sandeep, for quickly sharing your perspectives on SAP's own financial transformation journey. I'm pretty sure that this is just the beginning, and I'm pretty sure you will stay involved in the activities that we plan for the Finance Special Interest Group, and we'll see a lot more of you and what you are driving within SAP going forward as well. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sri. Maybe Sri, if you can do your session, and then you can hand it over to Keval.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sandeep, for joining and giving this welcome note. Keval, you want to go in first, or I can start it? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Go ahead, Srinath.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Let me start. Okay. So I think thanks to Mukesh, Manoj, and Sandeep for giving an overview about the INDUS and also from the perspective of how SAP runs SAP. In my slides, I've kept my slides to a very, very limit. I'm sure most of us are aware of how SAP works and all those stuff. Today, my focus for the next 10 minutes, not more than that, would be to cover up how you could maximize the potential of the digital core and get the benefits of your investments. So if you look at, I think Sandeep covered this slide, but from a perspective of how SAP has grown over the last 50 years, in fact, 2022 is one of the significant years for SAP as we are celebrating the 50 years of providing customer-oriented solutions, covering end-to-end of the globe. We have grown to an extent that 80 to 85% of the global transactions runs through touches the SAP system. Okay, and this is helping the global economy to move on also. Okay, and with presence of more than 200 countries, we are able to serve multiple industries, multiple verticals, multiple solution components as well. Okay. So when it comes to S/4HANA, the journey is well captured. It's just a 7-year-old baby, okay, which has transformed the entire architecture of SAP from R2, R3, ECC, now S4 for the last 7 years, has enabled a lot of customers in initiating their digital transformation journeys. Okay, even though digital transformation is a phenomenon which has started, say, 4 to 5 years ago. But S4 has been the stepping stone for many organizations to start to invest on the transformations. Today, if you look at after 7 years, even we have a lot of roadmap which is being covered with more innovations which is coming from the S4 platform. Okay, and what is the end benefit is typically customers are able to reap in the benefits very quickly. Earlier, there used to be a ROI calculator. There used to be a lot of things which goes on to find out the benefits of SAP. Now, customers have a trust, have built a lot of mechanisms to find out how well they could able to reap the benefits of S4.
Can I chime in from a finance perspective? I think when we started the S/4HANA journey, the first area that we actually tried to do innovations in was actually finance, starting with the universal journal concept back in 2015, and that was like our first version or first cut of actually putting a different kind of methodology or a different kind of an ERP, and the innovation actually started with finance on S/4HANA. So I mean, we have come a long way. I think we have done quite a few things, and I think Srinath will kind of touch upon that a little bit. And a lot of customers are also leveraging it. At the same time, a lot of customers are not leveraging all the capabilities as well, where we would actually like to help. So with that said, Srinath, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for chipping in. Okay. So apart from the digital core, this slide could be a picture slide wherein apart from the core of ARAP, GL, or the Universal Journal, there are other pillars of all the functions of the Chief Financial Officer, which is also covered upon. Okay, even though I don't want to touch upon the licensing aspect here, but each and every sub module or sub functions of the finance officer has been addressed with different modules. Okay, for example, if you look at the corporate closure or the tax management, or if you even put how Indian customers have enabled through the taxation platform per se through GST, okay, and the new age thing which is coming from the portfolio of analytics, okay, people are able to seamlessly talk about their planning activities, their budgeting with data flowing from multiple other systems. It could be ERP system, it could be a CX system, it could be a HX system. Data are started flowing, and there's a universal truth is being published to the CFO. Okay. There are a lot of organizations which with the CFOs are managing with the 5 pillars. But of late, in the last, say, 2 to 3 years, one of the phenomenon which is happening is the CFOs also been interested to handle the information security aspect. Okay, so in lieu of this, SAP also have ensured that the financial stack is comprising the information security in terms of cyber security, in terms of threat detection, in terms of how well they could able to handle the information leakage. Even though this certain companies have adopted the GRC platform, but apart from that, information security has also been added to the portfolio. Okay, so how is it heading? This is more of a common slide where even though organizations have adopted ERP, have adopted S4, the way that organizations want to leverage their transaction platform with more data input, with more visual analytics, with more predictive things to happen. For example, if you look at the way that manufacturing is being transformed, we have I 4.0, we have analytics, we have IoT data which is coming in. We have, if you look at the automotive industry, that they are transforming from to a fossil-based fuel to an electric-based fuel. Like that, every industry is getting changed. Like that, even the ERP systems or the data systems are getting changed from a transaction system to an innovation system to an automation platforms. Okay, I'm going to cover this in depth in the last couple of slides, where how the innovation mechanism from S/4HANA is getting robust. So after you would have heard about a lot of news about our customers adopting the RISE platform. Okay, I think Kpi would be addressing this in his platform, how we have RISE with SAP Finance is actually helping customers to adopt the latest platforms from S4. With this, the way that organizations could leverage, there are 3 principles with which SAP gives the platform. One with the transformation, second is your transparency, and the third with your trust. Okay, transformation per se is beaten to death word. Like SAP, Sandeep mentioned about how we also started the journey of transformation with the finance as a core. And in fact, S4, when it started, finance was the first area of processes to start with the transformation. When I say transformation, it includes innovation. It includes how we could relook at the way that business are being performed. It could be a procurement process, it could be a sales process, or it could be even a compliance process, how it could be looked upon, redrafted, redrawn, and how integrable it can be with the enterprise systems. one of the lessons or one of the things that people are looking at is how easy, how I'm sure we're all using smartphone to the maximum. There are a lot of applications which has come in with the way that it is being used, with the way that data has been collated, with the data being transmitted and also being presented to us. How easy is it? Same way, if you look at the way that ERP is also looked upon is how easy it can be usable, how easy it could be representable, how easy it can be interpretable. So one of the biggest thing that customers derive is how do we interpret the data? How can we read the data with simplicity, with more clarity, and how it can be reported back to the CFO or the board members in a very representable manner. It is not a dashboard per se. It is more of a real-time happening. This is not a dashboard for a static KPI. This is not a copy, duplicated, or say where we have a BW system, we have a HANA on DB, where you could able to write cubicles. We have to write lot of algorithms to bring in. This is more the way that UI has been enriched. UI has been given more power is to give a real-time data. Okay, this all real-time transactions. This has been used with multiple customers when they leverage the S4 HANA platform. Okay, it could also the feature is also driven by the drill down features. I'm sure you all know, probably most of you use it. But if you have not leveraged the S4, please, we could also have a separate session where you could able to leverage how we could able to give this kind of intuitive, readable data. Saying this, I'm just a short video. Probably I'm not sure whether we have time today to give this thing. So how easy it can be, transactable. It's all like an application where you have tile-based approaches where you could able to create multiple application, multiple forms, multiple tiles, which is configurable per user wise, per processes wise, and system wise also. It's completely user-centric. You could able to customize asset on the fly and create a very enriching applications. So comes next to the transparency. When you transparency, I think if today's participants from IT or from a finance background, they could easily analyze how the way that S4 HANA has migrated or journeyed towards from an R3 to S4. Like Keval mentioned, from an R3 stage to ERP to S4 now, the invention of universal journal has ensured that the transformation and the transparency of all the data which is created from a accounting perspective. It could be a journal entry data, it could be an asset data, it could be a profit center, cost center, or even when you tried and calculate the profitability analysis on the fly. Okay, all this has enabled from a perspective of universal journal. Today, probably we may not go in depth what is UJ or what is PA calculations all about. I think we are going to create a lot of interesting sessions from these SIG chapters where we'll have a lot of deep dive sessions on each and every topics. Okay, from the analytics point of view, since the data is from the UJ, the analytical needs are inbuilt. You could able to do a lot of drill down. We could able to do a segmentation. We could do a region-wise reporting, profit group, product group, customer-wise, vendor-wise. A lot of permutation and combination can be done for analytical purpose.
So Srinath, let me just give one example, right? So if you look at the before S4 HANA world, right? If you're looking at a trial balance or even a financial statement within SAP, and you want to, let's say, drill down onto a particular account, let's say depreciation, and want to find out what is your expense by cost center, right? For that, you would have to run another report in controlling,
yeah,
to let to kind of understand what is the details by cost center for that particular depreciation expense. Now, let's say if you go into that report and you want to further drill down and say that in this cost center, what are the fixed assets where I need to have where the depreciation has been accounted for, I need to run a third report in my asset accounting reporting to actually get to the details of that. Whereas with the new S4 HANA world, what has happened is all of this is actually a single report, a single drill down, and you really do not need to run multiple reports going forward, because all of it has been re-architected to run onto a single universal journal which has every bit of finance data that you can imagine, whether it is plan, whether it is actuals, whether it is consolidation. All of that data is available at a single place. So that's where we have been able to actually do a lot of detail out. So with that said, there are multiple areas which get impacted because of that, and we are glad to actually walk you through that on a different maybe forum. Session. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. So finally, on the trust factor, this is more or less the way that new modules have been added with more innovations coming on. And the trust, when I say that how we trust the new thing which is coming from the AI or ML or the automation journeys which the customers are adopting either on S4 platform or on the independent platform, the data which is going to come from S4 can be trustable for multiple scenarios. So like I mentioned earlier, the way that S4 is being entrusted upon for a lot of automation investments, on a lot of AI investments from the customer side. Okay, when I say AI investments, people are trying to adopt how they could automate certain processes. SAP thought about this and brought upon a lot of innovations. Some of them are highlighted here. For example, GRI reconciliation, accrual management, cash apps. And one of the best thing which I want to highlight here is you don't need to have a different AI platform. S4 is embedded with AI BAs, which means it is part of your transaction system. It is part of your analytical platform itself, which saves a lot of investments for another AI or ML based systems. I'm sure we are going to have one more session. We are discussing with the INDUS members for a specific deep dive session of the innovations in finance for the AI and ML portfolio. So probably what we can also do is, if some of you are interested, we could also have a separate session. We can now do a deep dive how you could able to build a use case on AI, ML, or even leveraging the existing S4 features that you are not even using. We could have a deep dive session. We could have a workshops exclusively for you and come out with the value proposition on the finance platform. Thank you. Over to you, Keval, for your messages. Thank you. You're on mute.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. See, I don't have too many slides, but what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So see, for years, SAP has been working with the finance community, and one thing that we have definitely done in the past, my career in SAP has been 16 years. And I have definitely taken pride in terms of what we have delivered to our customers. And if I look at my consulting career, it had mostly automation of operations was the era at that point in time, as to how can we automate a lot of the operational activities, how can we capture all the inventory movements and the financial implications of that, or sales cycle and the financial implications of that, and kind of automate that and provide some bit of reporting from the system in terms of insights, and try and comply to regulatory requirements, maybe compliance. But that world actually is fast changing. right? Whenever customers used to ask maybe 15 years back as to I want to do this analysis or want to do this kind of calculation, we used to always suggest that okay, you should have a data warehouse where you take all the data and then try and juggle with it, right? And that means that there was struggle with that, maybe a lot of technical involvement, and it used to take time, right? So with the new world, obviously, it's not just about running the business, but it is about delivering insights, right? It's not just about running the business, but actually spending more time on the uh, analysis that you want to do, and the analysis that should be available on a real time basis. So two things that impact this. One is bringing in more efficiency from a user experience point of view. That's where basically our front end Fiori as well as UI5 kind of technology, as well as business technology platform has done a wonderful job in terms of making a change in that user experience. The second part is bringing in automation, which is basically in terms of the activities that need to be done within the system. How can we build in RPA, robotic process automation, into that, and really spend less time on the operations. And the third thing is to basically give a transactional plus analytical platform, a unified platform to the customer, such that they are not just able to run their business, but they are also able to leverage a lot of KPIs and analytics right out of the bat, out of the system. And those are the three things that we have been able to do with S4HANA, right? And we have also worked towards some of the predictive insights that can be brought in. For example, today we have a predictive formula wherein you can understand whether a particular vendor will supply the required material within the delivery date that you have defined or not, right? So that's a predictive algorithm that is already in there, which learns from the vendor behavior and the delivery behavior, and actually tells you, okay, when would he actually be able to deliver, or whether he will deliver in time or not. So those are the kind of things that are already built in. And then the second part that we have been now working upon, okay, and which really kind of excites me as well, is to again expand the horizon of predictive insights, and actually plug in a more advanced analytics into it. Make sure that the customers are able to actually take decisions on top of the S4 system. So we have devised within S4 HANA a capability wherein you can make decisions, wherein, let's say, if there if there is a material shortfall, what are your options to actually take care of the material shortfall? The system will automatically suggest that these are the ways you can take care of the material shortfall. Either you can transfer the material from this plant to this plant, or you can procure the material from this particular vendor, although the rate is high, but he'll be able to deliver in time, right? Or you go with vendor B, which might be delayed by a couple of days, but he'll be able to deliver, he will quote a lower rate. So those kind of options can come in automatically from the system based on the scenario or the situation that is arisen. And this, we call it as a situation handling uh, application. You can build all kinds of situations that you want, and this is something that we have been working upon within S4 HANA, to make sure that you have this situation handling applications in all kinds of scenarios, whether it is finance, supply chain, procurement, etc. So these are some of the things which we have been working upon. Similar to that, on the finance side, is how can we make provisions more intelligible, right? Based on the purchase order data, based on the past historical data, can the system itself suggest what is the provision amounts that should go in, right, on a quarter to quarter or a month to month basis? So those kind of things we have been working upon, and that's where we are leading the next journey of finance applications as well as S4HANA. With that said, that's what I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit. Uh, that's it from my side. I'll hand it over back to Srinath.
Hey, thank you, Kevin. It was more insightful. Thank you. I think this is the agenda that we had for today. Back to Mukesh. You can able to take it over and give a word of thanks.
Thanks, Keval and Shri, for covering the agenda. I know this was a really quick, short. What we can. The important piece of conversation that we wanted to have today was also to kind of understand your expectations from the SIG. I'm assuming all of you have already joined the WhatsApp group that we have created for the Finance SIG. If you have not, I would strongly recommend and request that you join the WhatsApp group as well. We will continue to post insight information and post articles on the group. We can also continue to use the group for ongoing interactions with each other. Please do so. And we still have about 8-10 minutes, so maybe we can do one other thing apart from this. Yes, Mr. Rao, you have a question?
Yeah. Is it possible for you to show, for Srinath to show the reports again, the Fury reports that he showed?
Fury reports, huh? Just a second.
If you don't mind, please.
Yeah.
So while Sri does that, is that okay if we do a small experiment? I'm going to put all of you into different breakout rooms, and all I want you to do in those breakout rooms is introduce yourself, which company you're from, what role you're doing, and have a quick conversation around what is it that we can do next as the next activity for this finance special interest group. Come back and one of you can actually tell us what did you find or your group want as the next activity for the finance special interest group. Each breakout room will have about 5 people, and so that you'll get about 5 minutes, maybe 1.5 minutes to do an introduction, and 2.5-3 minutes for you to have a discussion on what is the next topic that we should cover as part of the finance special interest group. One of the most important things that INDUS as a group provides is the ability to network and get to know each other. So please do introduce yourself, and if you want, you can also share your mobile numbers on the chat when you are in the breakout room, so that you can exchange your mobile numbers as well, or your LinkedIn links. Either ways it works for us. I'm just creating the breakout rooms right now.
Mukesh, can you also share the WhatsApp QR code?
Yeah, I'll do that once you come back.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
once I create the breakout room,
Right.
you will find that there will be an option which will come up, join breakout room. Just click on that so that you are moved to the breakout rooms. Yeah. So is that clear? Can everyone through a reaction give a thumbs up? If you are clear in terms of what is expected. Thanks, Ganesh. Thanks, Basava. Thanks,
Deepak, yes. So sorry, I joined late. If you can tell in a minute, means sorry, I just joined.
No, so, what I said was that we will put you in breakout rooms, introduce yourself, which company you're from, and have a quick round of discussion in terms of what is the next topic that you want to see as part of the finance special interest group. That's
okay, fine. Thanks.
So you should now have the option to join the group. So if you just click join, you should be able to join. If I can ask all of you also to kind of accept and join the breakout rooms. Sachin, Shiva, Shrikant, Praveen, Balaji, Prabhakar, Ashish, Vinod. Can you join the breakout rooms as well? You just have to click join in order to join the breakout room in order to join. If not, we can have a conversation within ourselves as well, considering this to be a breakout room as well. So if you can just unmute yourself and introduce. Okay, no trouble, Sachin. Prabhakar, Vinod, can you join the breakout rooms? Just need to click accept in order to join. Ashok.
Hi, Pakesh.
So did you get a chance to introduce yourself in one of the breakout rooms?
Yeah, of course.
Super. Hi, Nikhil. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, hi, Mukesh. Good. How are you?
All good. Thanks. So just another 15 seconds, all the meeting rooms will close and everyone will come back to the main room. Hi, Shri. Thanks for coming back. And now you may want to show the Fiori reports that Mr. Rao was asking about. Shri? You're on mute, Shri. Can't hear you.
Now I think it's audible, right?
Okay. I just hope that all of you got a chance to introduce yourself. Maybe each group, if one of you can, was discussed in terms of the next activity for the finances hygiene.
Okay, Mukesh.
I think,
Yeah, I am from room number 2. Okay, we were 3 people there. Shivakumar from Greaves Cotton, if I'm right, and Shine. I think he got lost in between the discussion. As I mentioned in the chart, okay, similar thing. If a customer has got S4HANA as a standalone core ERP system, what visualizations can be really leveraged And if we can focus, let's say, if we can focus on financial accounting first so that we can look at GL, AR, AP, and asset accounting per se, and then next session could be focusing on controlling side, that's fine, but just a recommendation. And even other colleagues also concur with that idea, saying that there are customers on ECC who will be moving on to S4HANA. So it also makes sense for them also to see what is that they can get as a value add and what is that they're really missing if they are delaying their S4HANA decision. That's the point of view. Over to you, Mukesh.
Thanks, Srini. Anyone else wanted to share?
Yeah, so this is Prabhakar Rao. So I was in the group and we had, I think, 2 or rather SAP partners and 1 user company. So I think the ask is one, they're looking at migrating from ECC to HANA. And I think it's a sugar company, if I'm not wrong. And I think they're looking at, the handholding problem. Okay, and leveraging more on the finance part. Coming to us, as far as NATCO is concerned, we are looking at leveraging Fiori for the MIS reports, or rather, more insightful reports. Okay, MIS is already there in SAP, the normal GUI or the reports, but I think giving insightful things in a more convenient way rather than using the GUI and all that. Okay. The multi-form factor, etc. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Prabhakar.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Ashfaq. I was part of room number 3. We had Rajiv and Charles in this 3 people. One point that we all agree that there has to be a knowledge sharing session. But instead of having a kind of general, each person in the part of this group can request for some focus areas through WhatsApp group, and based on that areas, then session can be arranged. This is what we were thinking about it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Ganesh here from Group 5. I had Chetan, who was from Tata Chemicals, and apparently, coincidentally, we both are from a chemical industry background. Of course, both of us, I guess, are on ECC platform right now, and core is to know, or we are in a process of evaluation of migrating to HANA, and that was interesting to discuss, and looking forward from the group also the insights on that. So what the presentation came on today also was quite insightful for us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. We still haven't heard from 2 rooms. So anyone whose room has not been represented today?
From room number 4, I think we actually got into a discussion around the new topic of cyber security. So I think we probably would want to hear something about that as well in terms of the sessions planned forward. This is a new topic with data privacy coming in India. I mean, the act has been delayed for almost a couple of years, and it's still in discussion in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But yeah, I mean, it is going to come eventually. So how do we prepare for that? That was one of the topics. Yeah.
Thanks, Keval. One more.
From Group 7, I think it was fairly representative by JSW, then a couple of manufacturing companies. Their focus were more towards on product costing, how well they could able to go deep dive on product costing, plus also how easy to migrate from ECC to S4 through migration paths, well-established migration paths. They want to go in depth. I think Mukesh, from a perspective of topics, I think we have session for next 12 sessions. We could have topics.
I know. So I knew that this is something that would happen, but at least those are topics that are relevant for this community from that point of view. So
I'm looking forward to the next series of activities that we're planning to do. So maybe now, Sri, you want to show the Fiori reports and then we kind of conclude the session.
Yeah, I think it's a small video only, right? I'll run through that. Now, my screen is visible?
Yeah.
Are these the standard Fiori reports available, or it's the customized one?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Fiori reports which are being shown.
No,
these are
these are standard available
Standard
out of the
ones.
box. So basically, this is like a accounts payable overview, which we have kind of introduced this concept about 3 years back, wherein we can actually create overview pages, uh, which was accounts payable overview. There's a search functionality. You can actually search for anything over here. So I can just search for any, any, and it will actually give me a result around that. So it's like a Google search into the entire SAP database. Another thing that we have introduced about 3 years back was the T account, T account analysis. So you remember, if most of you are chartered accountants, probably we used to create these T accounts. So the T account view is something which is available now to do the analysis as to how different journal entries have done. We also have a feature which can be enabled using BTP called chat. So within S4HANA, you can actually chat with the other users, share reports, and share some of the screenshots if you need to upload details of your, or even comment around it, and even create activities for each other. Right. So this definitely kind of is a very different way of working, if I may say so, than what you would be used to with ECC. Yeah.
More like handling a smartphone than an ERP system, actually.
Yeah, it does have the notifications tab as well. So if you want to notify yourself or any of your users, that's also something which is kind of possible. And the UI and the way you work with it is pretty simplified. You can also enable something like a Siri, or again, this is through business technology platform, like a co-pilot, which or conversational AI as we call it now, to kind of interact with the system using your voice. So that's also possible, but that requires additional capability on top of S4. So as you can see, everything that has been created by Yuva Kumar, or has been, kind of handled by Yuva Kumar, it comes out directly based on the name. So if I want to just see journal entries now, which have been made by Yuva Kumar, I can see that. So there are 22,454 journal entries in various company codes. And I can actually drill down from here to a particular journal entry. Right. So this is something which is very unique in terms of a Google search across your SAP system, which obviously on a ECC kind of a system you won't be able to do.
Thank you, Keval.
Can we also limit company codes and plant
Yes.
codes?
Yes.
Can be done.
Yes, those authorizations are part of the objects that get attached to their roles. You can restrict a role by certain objects like company code, cost center, profit center, or even a custom object for that matter.
Okay. Okay.
So the Google search is Google search, but then it can be limited to what they can see.
Yeah, everything lies in the authorization.
Yeah. We do have also, front ends other than the web front end. So you can actually have an Excel front end to the entire S4HANA data using analysis for Office. So that you can design your own reports. Typically, finance users, what they do is download all the data, finance data from the ERP system into Excel and then play around with it. No need to actually do that. You can have a real-time Excel interface into SAP S4HANA directly, kind of looking at live data. So basically, there's no way that anybody can actually manipulate that data or do any kind of changes to that particular data. It's just an Excel front end that comes up. Further to that, obviously, capabilities of having planned data and consolidation data also on the same platform is something that you can also leverage. So yeah. So I guess you had a very small snippet of what Fiori and the interactions kind of look like. But yeah, I mean, we can go into more depths if you want.
Even apart from this, some specific question. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we doing something on material value chain analysis in 2020?
Yes. That's a, I would say that's a kind of a developing topic. This is especially for companies which have a global supply chain, multiple companies involved, a lot of transfer pricing which is involved. So now at a group level or at a higher level, if you want to kind of do a value chain analysis in terms of how the material movements have happened, what is the valuation of the different materials across the value chain, that can be actually demystified using material value chain analysis in S4HANA. It's being worked upon. I wouldn't say it is complete yet. I think we are planning to have that by 2022 and probably a more better and refined version in 2023.
Understood. Thanks.
You could always post your questions in the even in the WhatsApp group. Probably, I think it will be shared by experts from.
And definitely, we kind of are in constant touch with our product, managers and solution managers in terms of roadmap as well as the future innovations that are coming in. So definitely, we can throw some light on that as well. And definitely, we are also looking for feedback in terms of if there are certain areas which are not being addressed by us and are very critical to a certain industry or to the finance teams. As such, we can actually take that up with our product managers as well. So more than welcome to actually receive feedback in terms of what we can do. We are also in connect with our obviously localization team in India. So if there are any areas from a localization perspective, please feel free and to connect with me or Srinath on that as well. Great. I think it is nice to hear that you have increased your appetite on Fiori. Definitely. I mean, we are looking forward to actually do more innovative stuff on the front end UX side as well. Yeah.
I've been asking Mukesh again and again. I know Mukesh will feel why this man is after Fiori every time. But I think there's a lot of good things in that, and I really want to use it, to the best extent. That's the reason. And every time I see something on Fiori, I feel it is new, and I feel it's all the more. We are using it to some extent, but I think it's still, I would say, in the decimals. Okay. So
yeah, see, we can share some of the blogs around how we should go about deployment of Fiori as well, because we also understand that there is a change management involved with the users in terms of adopting the Fiori instead of the GUI, right? I would say that if you have younger crowd in your they would prefer Fiori, but the older crowd probably will prefer GUI. So it's both ways. But the other part is you can actually uh, also have GUI screens on Fiori. So it's not that Fiori only serves Fiori tiles or Fiori screens, but you can actually get even the SAP GUI menu, the entire SAP GUI menu on Fiori.
But actually
Okay.
speaking, Cable, what I see is even before there is some disturbance. Okay. So,
Ashfaq, can you go on mute, please? Thank you.
so even before the users, I think, what I'm seeing is there's a kind of a deficit on the partners. Okay. I mean, I have been talking to a couple of partners, but I know somehow, I think their knowledge is only limited to the F of Fiori. Okay. Not beyond that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to see a couple of partners who can help us on that, but somehow, I see it's a knowledge deficit.
No, I think we can help you with that. There are some good partners who have done good Fiori deployments, and it requires a separate expertise and a separate, I would say, team who focuses on it. For example, I think our first customer in India who deployed Fiori was Mahindra and Mahindra, and they have utilized this to the max extent possible. So definitely, we have some good customers, but they do have an internal team specifically focusing on Fiori as well, or UX, if I may say so. So definitely that is something which
I can actually tell you, see, if we start using Fiori, I'm sure a lot of the other pharma companies in Hyderabad, okay, who keep on, kind of, I mean, there are, we are part of the pharma community, and, a lot of other companies who are using SAP would actually suit, they would actually, kind of, we keep talking to each other, and I think, it will have a ripple effect on all the others also. They will also start using it. So
For
I
sure.
would say, if, some amount of time investment from your side, okay, to help us use it. I'm not even asking for any customized reports, just the standard reports. I think that itself will be good for us to chew.
Yeah. So there is also a public website called Fiori Apps, SAP Fiori Apps Library, wherein you can actually find all the
I
Fiori
just shared
apps
the
by
link.
role.
Yeah,
I just shared the link on the chat.
I have that already. The only thing is, the question is, about, we know it. We wanted someone to help us, kind of activating it or making us understand. Even the trial balance report that I see it over there, I think someone can help us, how do we kind of set up the dimensions, etc. I think that itself can give us a lot of value in that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, by the way, I've also shared a link which has a video playlist. It talks about how to enable or activate these Fiori apps. Can I have a look at that as well?
Sure.
Yeah, I think Srikanth, you have your hands up. So maybe if you want to unmute yourself and share your comment or question.
Yeah, hi Mukesh. Sorry, I was not available for quite some moment here. I wanted to know about like how different it is to create customized reports and applications in S4HANA or Fiori application than ECC.
See, we believe more and more in self-service reporting. Okay. What I mean by that is every time that the user wants to understand the financials or for that matter any topic, and he wants to create or generate reports via certain dimensions, uh, he should not be reliant upon the technical team. Okay, he or she should not be reliant on the technical team. So what we have done is to generate these views, which are technical views, which are a host of information across, let's say finance, materials management, sales and distribution. We have multiple CDS views, as we call it, core data services view. That's the technical name of it. And you just simply allow the users interface where the CDS view is consumed, and they can actually build their own report by just simply dragging and dropping the dimensions and the values that they want for those dimensions, whether it is quantity, whether it is value, whether it is some sort of calculation. They can actually do it on their own, right? The second part is we have also put together a KPI framework, which can basically mean that you can design your own KPIs, and every role can be attached to those KPIs, so that whenever they log in, the moment they log in, they are able to see their KPIs, right? So it's a very different way of kind of approaching reporting or KPIs. It's not about building it. It's about giving a platform to the users such that they can do most of the stuff on their own rather than relying on a technical team. And that's where the applications are going towards, where it is more self-service than somebody technical going and understanding the requirement again and again and developing 30-40 reports very similar to each other, right? So that's gone now. So customizations reduced to a large extent because 80% of the customizations used to be reports, right? So that's where we are actually focusing towards, with the S4HANA being a transactional and analytic system put together.
So Keval, that part will cater to particularly reporting thing. What is there in case of some specific transaction kind of, for example, in HMCL there are a lot of customized transactions, very specific and sophisticated transactions.
Yeah,
So
sure.
how will we be able to cater them through this platform?
Right. So if in your current existing ECC system, the custom transactions, when they move to S4HANA, you will have to basically do a custom code check, whether it complies to all the S4HANA, I would say nomenclature, or the way the select queries or the way the code has supposed to be written. It will do a custom code check, and it will give you a answer saying that no change is required, or there is some change that is required. And basically you do those changes and migrate that custom code into S4HANA. Now, as far as the front end of the transaction, the custom transaction is concerned, if it has been designed on SAP GUI, you can still get that on Fiori using the SAP GUI look and feel itself, or you can redesign that using Fiori. So from a custom transaction code perspective, I don't think there is a huge effort, but there is some effort.
Yeah, Keval, just one more question. Will there be any drag and drop, the way you said that there will be customized reports kind of thing? Can we create applications also the same way?
I'm not sure that I understand what you mean by that.
I'm asking about the customized transactions, customized processes to post, for example, accounting documents kind of thing. So can there be, or is there any provision to create?
So when you're transacting, why would you do drag and drop? I'm not sure what you mean by that. See, when you are doing the transactions, okay, what we have is with each of those fields, you can actually do a Google search kind of thing. So enterprise search, as we call it. So basically, when you are about to fill, let's say, a GL account number in ECC, you had to know the GL account number. Here, for example, if you just type in travel, right, it will actually come up with all the GL accounts in the journal entry screen that have travel word in it, and you can actually select from it. So instead of doing 2-3 clicks, you can just type in and you will be able to actually do a search on the basis of that. So there is a lot of ease of use in terms of the transactions as well. However, yeah, I mean, it's not like, I mean, for T codes, I'm not sure how would you do a drag and drop kind of thing. But there is a lot of efficiency that has been built in over there as well. For example, we have gotten rid of all of those posting key kind of stuff. We have very simple debit credit, right? Just just the amounts of debit and credit. We don't go into massive screens which you have to scroll through, right? In ECC. You have a template based approach. You also have a standard out of the box Excel template which you can fill in and load. So there are a lot of, from an efficiency perspective on transactions, there is a lot that has happened. We can probably get into a lot more detail maybe in future sessions.
Sure, Kevin. Thank you.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I think we are almost over time actually. So thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for all your suggestions. As Sri said, we have enough suggestions for content for the next maybe 10, 12 sessions going forward from this one session itself. So we will continue to bring those sessions. We'll set up a monthly call and try and bring topics that are relevant that were kind of mentioned today. We hope that you are able to join. Please continue to use the WhatsApp group to kind of have discussions and ongoing interactions until we move to a community platform, which will be soon. Until then, thank you so much for your time.
Can you share the WhatsApp code, QR code?
I've already put it on the chat.
Okay,
the link.
great. Okay,
so if you just click on the link, you will join on your mobile phone. Just or if you're using WhatsApp for desktop, if you just click on the link, you can directly join the group.
Thank you, Mukesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh.
INDUS.
Thank you, Sri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
friends.
Kevin.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Srinath and